firearms that can be bought online, simple at home.
Shira Miller. She should be calling in any minute now. No problem. Thank you.
As well as two men from Washington, D.C. The New Rochelle Holiday Market is now accepting applications for the 2022 at the New Rochelle train station. Market will run from December 2nd, 11. It's presented by the City of New Rochelle, the downtown initiative. The Holiday Market provides a special venue for minority women businesses and young to showcase their crafts and products live online through its website, NewRochelle.com. Westchester County now launching a program to help with affordable housing issue. County Executive George Lattimore said that tenant assistance program LTAP allows small to fewer units maintain rent levels that are affordable. Now apply up to $25,000 for tickers and insurgents. And the New Rochelle Police Department is launching a new crisis response team to address whether calls might require a mental health professional alongside a police officer team. Mental health professionals from Rochelle, part of the county's Project Alliance. I'm Jared Zorello for 1460 WVOX.
For my daughter can't start stem cell transplant. Yes. Sure. Westchester Health uses every technology, talent, and special common disease that could otherwise harm a child. Helping my daughter thousands of children's hospital. Happy birthday.
WMC. And now with your latest forecast. Pella Series on 1460 WVOX.
Forecast of Westchester County is for today. Skies will become partly sunny. High temperatures will climb to the upper 80s to around 87. Mostly cloudy.
Welcome. We're going to have a great show with Shira Miller, the life coach and the
Highs lower 80s on Saturday. Mostly sunny. 83.
author of the new book Free and Clear. Help you get free and clear. So
thank you for joining us on 1460
here we go.
Radio station where many different voices are heard in the land. Opinions expressed in our community and open line programs are not necessarily those of the station, its management, or sponsors. As always, we're privileged to amplify the voice of the people here on Rock Populate 1460 and worldwide at WVOX.com for you and yours.
Hello, New York.
Hello. Here we go. About to be a great show.
Last independent community radio station for you and yours. WVOX and WVOX.com.
1460. Stay tuned now for What Happened Here with Rich Thomas. Rich Thomas is the former mayor of Mount Vernon. And now, What Happened Here with Rich Thomas on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back. My name is Rich Thomas. You're listening to WVOX, a Whitney Global Media Station. The name of our show is What Happened Here, and today's topic is what happened here with getting stuck. Getting unstuck is what we're going to discuss with our very special guest, Shira Miller. Shira is a life coach. She is a person that has transformed herself from financial ruin to prosperity, from obesity to wellness and good health, and overcoming, health challenges to make sure that she has a healthy mindset. She's someone that's a real inspiration, a motivational speaker, a TED Talk speaker to be clear, but also the author of the latest book, Free and Clear. Free and Clear discusses how you can get unstuck to break through to the rock star you that you are. We'll be taking calls in the show, 914-636-0110. Again, 914-636-0110. And I left out that Miss Miller is also, a high-level executive of a company that helps America keep running on Duncan. She does communications for a company that helps manage the logistics behind Dunkin' Donuts, which is a great service to this country. I mean, God bless her for that, because everybody knows I love coffee, I love Dunkin', and we all love waking up and getting going, especially when you're listening to the morning show with Dennis and Tani right here on 1460. But today we're going to discuss how to get unstuck, how to break through, how to let go, how to make things happen for you, because there are so many layers and levels of challenges, most of which start from within. But as you work to make a transition and a difference, you have to overcome some inner voices, but also, put structure around some external challenges. So get ready to call in with your questions, your situations at 914-636-0110. And when our guest calls in, we're going to talk about her career. We're going to talk about her background. We're also going to talk about her book. Her book is available on Amazon. Look up Free and Clear. Again, that's Free and Clear. Or look up Getting Unstuck. You can also visit ShiraMiller.com, SHIRA Miller.com for more information about her. But before we bring on our guest, I just want to let everybody know next week will be another special show. We will be live on an international beat. Next week, we'll be broadcasting live from Stockholm, Sweden. We'll do some discussions about Sweden's move to join NATO, but also get some reactions and talk to people on the street in Sweden about some of their perceptions and beliefs about what's going on in the world today. So it's going to be a great show. We're going to have Charlie Knapp on as well, our regular. We're going to talk some international stuff live from Stockholm, Sweden. And I may have some other special guests, including my kids. As you know, they take over the show. But nonetheless, we are joined by our guest, Shira Miller, author of Free and Clear, Getting Unstuck to Reach the Brand New You. Shira, thank you for joining us. Shira, thank you for correcting me. I blame it on the Southern drawl. So just know, everybody, it's Shira, not Shira, Shira. So thank you for that correction. I'm gonna have to write a note to the people that told me. No, let me stop. Thank you so much, Shira, for joining us. Rich is fine. And one of the things I was watching some of your TED Talks, and you dive into some very difficult discussions, and not just discussions but difficult decisions. Before we start talking about getting unstuck into becoming free and clear, can you just share with everybody a little bit about your background? You know, Tell everybody a little bit about what happened to you in 2008 during the Great Recession and how you had to recreate and reinvent and become this brand new you.
Unstuck is my superpower because I have been stuck and had to get myself unstuck so many times in life. And, that includes losing over 30 pounds, losing over 50 pounds 30 years ago, going from obesity to wellness, finding lasting love after divorce. And back in 2008, 2009, what you specifically referenced, I used to have a public relations firm, award-winning firm in Atlanta, Georgia. And when the recession came, I didn't see it happening. Most of us didn't. There were actually 200,000 small businesses that failed at the time, mine being one of them. I had to let go of great employees. I had a significant amount of business debt. I had a long-term office lease I couldn't get out of, and it was really an awful time. I felt so completely stuck. Handled all the business by myself for 4 years, trying to, pay off all the debt, get back on good footing. Ended up getting diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which is an autoimmune disorder after that. And it was just a really difficult time in my life.
And it's like when it rains, it pours. But somehow, but somehow you found shelter from within, and you said no, no mas. You rejected, these challenges and said, there's bound to be better. You got up motivated to set the world on fire, and you said, these are the things that I'm going to do to break through. And each battle that came your way, you discovered a process, your superpower. Can you tell everyone a little bit about that process? Where does it begin?
Taking a pause and figuring out, I mean, the name of your show, what happened to that? Causing circumstances. If I think about myself, what would I like my desired state to be? And in my case, I realized that I wanted to have a life that was filled with purpose. I needed to, think more deeply into what my purpose was, and step by step recreated it. I became a certified executive coach. I decided to go back into corporate. I'm now the chief communications officer of a company called National DCP. As you said, we are the $2 billion supply chain owned by Dunkin' franchisees. So yes, we're the people that buy all the ingredients and make sure that you got the goods every day when you're going in your Dunkin' stores.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Step process, learning self-compassion, learning how to be kind to myself, and, just creating a more fulfilling, purpose-driven life and career.
Now, I want to pause on the pause and zoom in on when you paused, what were the conversations like with the people around you? Because that's something that always tends to happen because, people, life is unfair and you got to get up and keep going. But when you pause after that moment where life knocks you down and you get up, what can you tell us a little bit about the conversations you had with the people immediately around you, and if there's something there that we should all pick up on?
Need people to sugarcoat it and say, I did everything perfect, I was fine. I needed honesty with compassion.
Mm-hmm.
It is, look what happened. You can have a different way of life. I remember having lunch one day with a really dear friend of mine who I started out as her boss. She eventually became one of my biggest clients when I had a PR firm. Who, I was trying to figure out, okay, do I keep doing the same thing? And she was like, that's crazy. You're just knocking your head against the wall. You can have permission to have a different, better life, a different way of being. You are so good at what you do for a living, but you're tired of trying to do it on your own. You can really thrive by getting back into a corporate environment. So it really took her giving me that feedback, and some of it was hard to receive at first. Beating my head against the wall. I knew deep down I was doing it, but it took people I respected bringing it to the surface for me to be willing to do something about it. And so all those conversations with my husband, with my close friends, with people who I respected who weren't necessarily close friends, but I knew would shoot me straight, those all made such a difference, Rich.
And that's where I think a lot of people take for granted the relationships that are immediately around them, and that's something that when you take inventory, like you said, your loved ones, your friends, or people that you respected. But those are things that we're going to pick up when we come back from this break. We're going to take a pause with Shira Miller discussing Free and Clear, her new book. We want you to get it on Amazon. Don't change that dial. Listen to what happened here. Hey guys, hope you all are having a good show. Any questions you got, please ask your questions. Shira Miller is on the line. She is a certified professional life coach. She is a woman that's in charge of communications for the company that makes sure that Dunkin' franchisees have access to all the ingredients and supplies that they need so that America can run on Dunkin'. And if you have questions about, a breakthrough or something that you want to do with yourself or a business venture, call in or put your questions right here on Instagram Live, on Facebook and YouTube. We'll do our best to work those questions in. But if you want to call in, the phone number is 914-636-0110, 914-636-0110. And I really do think that when you listen to Shira's process and you listen to how Shira was at the bottom She was at the top, then hit rock bottom, and then all of a sudden, each time she hit bottom, she bounced back. D, what up? And she was you know, someone that had extreme challenges from health to wealth issues. You know, lost her company and had to completely start over. And when you look at, you know, her trajectory, she really skyrocketed into a whole new plateau. And we really want to not only celebrate her personal accomplishments, but, you know, let's celebrate the fact that she's sharing her process and her experience with all of us. And I think that that's something we can all benefit from. And I hope that each of us, you know, pick up some jewels from it. So I was going to make sure that the people on YouTube and Facebook got good sound. I'm going to be right back while we on commercial break. Danny, everything, man. We got to catch up, Danny. We've been talking about it all summer. We got to make it happen. Hold on, everybody.
Now more than ever, a smart, effective, and economical way to reach homeowners, doers, and activists in Westchester and the Bronx. To broadcast your theme or unique message, call Trudy Fremont or David O'Shaughnessy to inquire about our reasonable, affordable, local advertising rates. Established by the O'Shaughnessy family, which considers VOX a labor of love. They're certainly dedicated to it. Call Judy or David O at 914-636-1460. It's easy to get on the radio and have your voice heard in all the right places.
All right, we're coming back from break. Here we come.
And now back to What Happened Here with Rich Thomas, the former mayor of Mount Vernon, on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to WVOX at Whitney Global Media Station. My name is Rich Thomas, former mayor of Mount Vernon. And the name of our show is What Happened Here, where every week we ask a different question of what happened with a different situation. And today's situation is what happened with being free and clear? What happened with getting unstuck? That's a conversation that we ask ourselves often. You know, you got dreams, goals, aspirations, and all of a sudden life hits and says, you know what, try again. So on the line is our special guest, Shira Miller, ShiraMiller.com. We want you to check out her new book, Free and Clear, the author of Free and Clear, where she details her discovery of her superpower of getting unstuck, reinventing, rebuilding, going through a process, beginning with pausing. And before we went to commercial break, we paused on the first step of her process of getting unstuck with pausing. And now we're going to resume. Shira, thank you for being with us today. You know, we have another step to take in getting unstuck. What can you tell us a little bit about what comes next after pausing and talking with your friends and family?
Is know what their purpose is in life. They're, they have a glimmer, but they're not certain. I've got different that help you figure out what your purpose, i.e., your reason for being is.
So when you talk about purpose, you know, we're talking about passion and if you know, I don't know, there was a little static on the line. I don't know if that's on our end, but just want to point out to all the listeners, if you hear any static, don't hesitate to let us know. You know, we're correcting all that. But in terms of your purpose, you know, can you talk about when you find your purpose or you hone in on it, you know, like um, be it your passion. Can you tell us a little bit about, you know, the points of purpose? Like, is it a work thing? Is it a personal thing? Is it balancing your aspirations against what you can actually do? Because that's a hard concept for some to fathom. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you don't have a purpose, then you're going to be like driftwood. And we don't want you driftwood being like driftwood down the river. We want you to kind of be able to, you know, become an anchor, pause, and then pull yourself up and say, you know, what is it? So what kind of questions or what kind of purposes should people be looking for? And I know it's an open-ended question, but it's also a profound one.
great question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. You.
Mm-hmm.
Create better education. My purpose is to write, answer. My purpose is to bring a career, be a grandparent. When you it's a general statement, but it's going to be something within your wheelhouse. For example, I'm the kid who's number 6 left for the volleyball team. If I set my purpose as I'm going to be a professional athlete, I was really going to fall short. But my purpose is something I'm passionate about, which is helping other people get unstuck and activate their full potential. And once you identify what your overall purpose is, then you figure out how you bring that to life. It might be that you want to end a family cycle of abuse in some way. And in that case, you want to have healthy, harmonious relationships with your kids, with your siblings. Perhaps you're giving back to the community. So you pick how it takes shape and form.
That's tremendous. And I just want to say for all the people joining right now, listening, you're hearing from Shira Miller, ShiraMiller.com, SHIRA Miller.com. And she's the author of the book Free and Clear. And she's dropping some real pearls and gems, letting you all know how to be free and clear, how to get unstuck. The first step was pause, have some conversations with people that you respect. Some conversations will be hard to have, but you got to have it and pause, and then determine your purpose. And I just want to shout out Kendrick Lamar real quickly, because he has an album about some of the things that Shira is talking about revisiting some of these things that you want to do to find your passion and your purpose. And after you discover your purpose and you start recognizing that you do have potential, is what other step is can we expect to take after you identify that thing that's going to get you out of bed in the morning, that's going to get you up off the ground to get going? What is the next step you take?
Next, with self-doubt. There is grappling in an area where you don't have confidence. It's important to remind yourself what you're capable of. And if you like, Rich, I can give your listeners an exercise I created that might be helpful in this area.
Please go for it.
Good list. So, real list of things you'd like to do for your pick a bucket, before you die.
Yep.
And in a reverse bucket list, you detail everything that you've already done. Put everything that's been on the list. It might be, I got into a great college. I got promoted at work. I built a loving romantic relationship. It could be, anything like that. Another list or the longer list, think of everything. And what you do when you look at that list, it serves as your evidence, your irrefutable proof that you are so capable. And when you look at what you've already done, it builds your mental confidence and knowing you can overcome the obstacle before you right now.
Now, a listener wrote, their top of their list on their reverse bucket list is to stop procrastinating. They said they're great at that. But that's a superpower you need to drop. So definitely stop procrastinating. Start now. So get your pen and paper out, write that reverse bucket list, and make that list very detailed. But don't show your significant other, because you might get in some trouble. But I don't know. We'll talk about it when we come back from break. Don't change that dial. Listen to what happened here with our special guest, Shira Miller, author of Free and Clear. And get it now on Amazon. I'm telling you, it's going to be your breakthrough. Hey everybody, hope you all doing well out there. Hope you can hear just fine. We're on this quick commercial break. Hey Gerald. Hey, do you want to? Is there anything we can do about some of the static on her line? Should she call back in just to kind of reestablish a connection? Okay. you want to just ask her because it's on she might be on a speaker, which is fine, but I'm just saying, but for some reason it's like, it's a little. All right, thank you.
And inflation is down to its peak in June.
This is big going July compared to the month before, but they did jump 8.5% from the same time last year. That is slightly better though than the expectation of 8.7%. Much of the drop due to a tumble in oil and gas prices.
Civilian woo. Former President Trump invokes his Fifth Amendment rights and refuses to answer questions from the New York Attorney General's office.
About an hour after he arrived at New York State Attorney General Letitia James's office, he released a statement saying that he had, quote, declined to answer the questions under the rights and privileges afforded to every citizen under the U.S. Constitution. The deposition is part of a civil investigation into the Trump Organization over the value of business assets like buildings and golf courses, among other things.
Jay Powers in New York City. The deposition was delayed by Trump's ex-wife's advised death. Americans listening to Fox News.
If it's got low wheels and golden roll, Honda of New Rochelle wants to buy it. That's right. Buy cars, and because used car prices have never been higher, now is the absolute best time to sell your vehicle. Check us out online at HondaofNewRochelle.com or visit up with
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, all right.
whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, it's your vehicle. That's our values of that.
Yo, you funny, Dean. Let me tell you, Biden did it all. Well, look, prices are going down. Gas is becoming more affordable again, and hopefully, you can get back moving. But don't share that reverse bucket list with your wife because then, she's gonna call my wife and say, "Can you believe this?" And then next thing you know, we both gonna be in trouble because whatever's on your list is gonna eventually flow over to mine, and it's gonna be a problem. So just be perfect. That's it. Just say imperfect means I'm perfect. So just be perfect with your imperfections. But don't take it from me. I didn't write that book. Listen to Shira Miller because she has the recipe and the ingredients to breaking through to your new you. All right, here we come. We're coming back from break.
1460. Go ahead. Forecast of Westchester County and the vicinity for today. Skies become partly sunny. High temperatures will climb into the upper 80s to around 87. Mostly cloudy this evening, 50% chance of showers, especially through the overnight, lows into the lower 70s. 40% chance of showers early Thursday, then partly sunny in the afternoon, highs into the low to middle 80s. Mostly sunny lower 80s on Friday. Sunshine continues for the weekend, with highs lower 80s on Saturday, mostly sunny. 83 on Sunday, chance of showers, a 5%. Seaport area June reporting for 1460 WVOX, a Whitney Global Media Station. You have ways of making you
Coming back.
WVOX worldwide. And now back to What Happened Here with Rich Thomas, the former mayor of Mount Vernon, on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back. My name is Rich Thomas, former mayor of Mount Vernon. You're listening to What Happened Here, and we're asking the question of what happened here with Getting Unstuck. Our special guest is Shira Miller. She is the life coach, the author of the book Free and Clear. She has a great story in, going from boom to bust and then back to boom again. And that's something that we all experience in life when it becomes unfair. And if you want to call in on 1460 on your AM dial or worldwide at WVOX.com, you can call in at 914-636-0110. Again, that phone number is 914-636-0110, or you can comment online on on my Instagram live feed or YouTube and Facebook, and we'll take your questions and comments and love to apply them to our conversation as we go through the process of becoming free and clear, getting unstuck, discovering that rock star that's in you and reaching your full potential. And Shira was telling us before we went to break, there's an exercise that you can do. And for those that are just joining, Shira, can you just tell them, briefly, the reverse bucket list, and then, what's the next step they should do after they make that reverse bucket list?
Sure. Create a reverse bucket list, which is a list of everything that you've accomplished in life. And can you hear me okay, Rick?
Absolutely.
Great. The next step is to focus on becoming resilient. And resilience, as you know, is the ability to bounce back from obstacles or difficult situations.
Mm-hmm.
We've all faced them. And within becoming resilient, I always advise that you practice forgiveness.
Hmm.
And it's not necessarily forgiveness of other people, it's forgiving yourself. So whether you've done something wrong or not, we often blame ourselves, second guess our actions and decisions, and when you do so, it really can get you stuck.
Now, forgiveness is something that, most talk about, but for some reason people don't let go. They hold on to these grudges. So as you, move on in life, everybody, the real observation is to, be at peace with some of those things, let go, and do practice forgiveness, because you'll find that, you'll have less baggage to carry. You'll have a much happier outlook on things, because, that thing that was bothering you really shouldn't be bothering you. It's only bothering you. But as you go through the process of pausing, finding your purpose, writing down your accomplishments, and then taking that next step to, go for it, get those obstacles out the way. Forgiveness gives you that additional superpower, per se, to keep moving forward. And Shira, as people are taking these steps, what else should they be, keeping in mind and seeking to do?
When you're given the choice between optimism or pessimism, I encourage people to use positivity,
Mm.
toxic positivity, which is pretending everything's okay when it's not. I mean, looking at the same situation and finding out what's the upside? What did I learn from it? How did this situation cause me to change or learn or grow? And when you can reframe it in a more positive light, you can move forward more easily and get unstuck.
So reframing is something that I can tell you that a lot of people have, challenges with. Some people don't even realize that they have to reframe, what just happened. A loved one passes away, or a loved one decides that they want to go in a different direction. But the signs to them leaving, for some reason you didn't pick up on it. But when the bags are at the door, you know that something went wrong, and that's something that we have to address. And that's where my question is, as you reframe, are there questions, or are there, things you should do, like go isolate, meditate? Can you talk about, that process of reframing?
It depends on the individual. If you're thinking it's better, if you're quiet as you would be in taking a pause, that's great. You can journal about it. I have an exercise in the book that's literally a grid where you pick a situation and you say to yourself, what other perspective can I take on this? And I'll give you an example. When COVID struck, my husband used to travel every week for work. And because we're loving each other, we actually like each other. We love spending time together. So when he had to learn to work remotely, it was great for our relationship. And while it was really hard having to be home most of the time, we just took our relationship to a new level by that new experience of having time together. And that was the reframing of COVID, the pandemic, really difficult time, but it ended up strengthening our relationship long term. That's choosing to find an upside or a positive thing from an overall negative experience.
Now, some people went through the same experience, being locked in and shut in, and some people did not have the same outcome as you. They didn't have that superpower that you have to recognize that, you know, you have to take a pause. You have to find a new purpose. And then you have to identify those obstacles that are in the way, and then you have to make sure you embrace forgiveness, but then go through with it. And that's where I think that a lot of people, struggle with. And as you're pointing out, in terms of, reframing some of those situations, and everybody that's joining and listening, we're talking with Shira Miller, the author of Free and Clear, A Way to Get Unstuck. She has in her book a grid that lays out different situations that you may encounter, be it with a loved one, be it with a colleague at work. You know, there are a series of questions and a series of methods that you can apply to make sure that you reach not only your full potential, but you get the best outcome out of the situation. And she described COVID, and that's where I know that a lot of relationships were strained. A lot of parents were stressed out like me having to do homeschooling, but nonetheless, we labored through it. But I do, ask, can you share another situation that people can find in your book that you think might be helpful? You have a lot of business executives, a lot of influencers, a lot of stakeholders listening in the tri-state area here in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, and I know that they're Googling you now, and they want to know, what other types of situations can they discover a new process to overcome with Free and Clear.
Something that's really important that you could be at the most senior levels of your career. It doesn't matter. You need to build a support system. And so this message is really important if you're the kind of person who prides themselves, I'm independent, I can help others, but I don't need to accept help myself. You're cutting yourself off, you're isolating yourself if you don't actively seek a community of support. That could be peers, it could be people that you work with, it could be a coach, it could be a counselor, a religious figure in your life, so many different outlets. But it's important to have a support system where you're not only helping others, but you're able to ask for and receive help yourself.
Now, when you said receive help yourself, everybody keep that in mind. You have to receive that help. You just can't say, I want help, and then expect to not receive the help that's coming your way. And sometimes it's tough medicine. And as Shira was telling us earlier about how, she had a very storied, successful career in public relations. And all of a sudden, the economy hit, the mortgage meltdown happened in 2008, and then boom, the landscape changed. And from there, she applied this process of, you know, taking a step back, pausing, looking, talking with people she respected, and they gave her, some perspective on a different direction that she could go. And look at her now. She keeps America running on Duncan. Amazing, amazing company, amazing stuff that she's doing in her group, making sure that the franchisees have access to all the materials they need to keep those cups full and those stomachs full with great nutritious options, from great coffee to cold coffee to great drinks to great snacks. My kids love the wake up wraps, by the way. So I can tell you that her book is Free and Clear. You can get it on Amazon, and you're listening to Shira Miller provide some great perspective on how to get unstuck. And lots of people don't realize that, they get into this situation and they have no tools, but now they do with Shira Miller, with Free and Clear. Don't change our dial. We'll be right back after this brief break. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in. We are here, Mr. AJ. Hope all is well. Happy belated. Good conversation with Shira, and just want to say sorry about that sound issue on part one of the show. We something happened where the Instagram live dropped the feed, so we picked it right back up. But got any questions? You got any thoughts? Got any observations? Please don't be afraid. Don't hesitate to drop a line, drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
uses to answer questions from the New York Attorney General's office.
He arrived in New York State Attorney General Letitia James' office. He released a statement saying that he had, quote, declined to answer the questions under the rights and privileges afforded to every citizen under the U.S. Constitution. The deposition is part of a civil investigation into the Trump organization over the value of business assets like buildings and golf courses, among other things.
Attorney Jim Powers in New York City session was delayed by Trump's ex-wife's demise. Having our listening to Fox News.
Next week, everybody, will be a special show. We're going to be broadcasting live from Stockholm, Sweden. So it's going to be a great show next week.
Fox News on Amazon, Fox News app, the voices of American folks. Only now. From Fox News Podcasts Network. Fox News contributor and Transom.com meeting was inviting you to join the conversation if you make one of the smartest thinkers out there about the issues Americans face and where we're going as a nation.
I don't know why this camera keeps doing this to me. It keeps like going up and on. Maybe just bring it a little bit closer. There you go. We're coming back from our final break, and we're going to be wrapping up what happened here.
Now back to What Happened Here with Rich Thomas, the former mayor of Mount Vernon, on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to WVOX at Whitney Global Media Station. My name is Rich Thomas, former mayor of Mount Vernon. And we're here every Wednesday from noon to 1 asking the question of what happened here. And today's conversation is what happened with getting unstuck. How do you get unstuck? How do you become free and clear? What can you do to reach that new you, that breakthrough, to get that rock star out and driving your purpose to, a new level? You're listening to 1460 on your AM dial worldwide at WVOX. Our special guest is Shira Miller, and you can find out about her at shiramiller.com. She's the author of the book Free and Clear, Getting Unstuck to Unleash Your Inner Rock Star. She's a TEDx talker. She is someone that is a certified professional coactive coach, a certified life coach, professional, providing some insight from her new book, Free and Clear, that's available on Amazon. And she's also the chief communications officer of a company that provides the logistics and access to all the materials for Dunkin' franchises to keep those cups full in America running on Dunkin'. Shira, thank you for joining us. We're in the final minutes of the show, and I know we covered a lot, everybody. Her process from pausing to finding your purpose, to creating a reverse bucket list, to taking action. Can you, Shira, just recap everybody a little bit about your process and then also where they can get your book and some things that are in your book that you feel is important for them to know about?
We talked about Rich, taking a pause, trying to figure out what your purpose is, building greater confidence in yourself, becoming more resilient and choosing optimism.
That's right.
And building a positive support system.
And each of those steps require everybody, you to have that inner strength to keep going down that list. And you will find that strength in the words of wisdom in Free and Clear, which is a new book by Shira Miller, available on Amazon or at shiramiller.com. That's spelled S-H-I-R-A, Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R.com. And it's something that you can claim because you deserve to get unstuck and unleash your inner rock star. And as you were telling us, that support system, can you describe, you mentioned something about being positive, but don't have toxic positivity. Can you come back to that and just amplify that point for people that are just joining?
Absolutely. With the first term, positivity, and that is the equivalent of sticking your fingers in your ears, closing your eyes, and saying, la la la, everything is fine, when it isn't. With authentic positivity, you actually leave it true and it's based on reality and you being your authentic self.
And that's something, somebody said to me one time, perception is reality. And my response was, reality is perception. And I can tell you that when you fix your reality, you'll get the right perception. And what I mean by that, not to, get all wise here, but I do want to just point out, when you drive in our region, there's a community called Bronxville. It's a very affluent community. But when you drive through Bronxville, you see all the cars slow down. You see them slow down because, people know that if you speed, you will get pulled over by a cop and given a ticket. But in other communities, for example, I'll choose mine, Mount Vernon, you see people speed up because they know that the cops in our community don't have, the tools that they need to provide safety, like cars. And that's something that people just know. You can't catch a car on foot that quickly. So it's the reality is, for a situation like that, not necessarily an interpersonal situation, but a real situation, you know, the same way you're prescribing to give yourself the tools to pause, to find your purpose, to, build that self-confidence, get that support network, get that resiliency going. We need to do it, in different areas of our lives and even communities' lives. So as you're talking, I just want to make sure everybody knows that there's so many applications to what Shira is discussing, and it's all coming from her book, Free and Clear. And from your book, are there any other items that you think people can discover, or even from your TED Talks? Because I saw a TED Talk that you gave about stop apology speak. Those are things that it's real, and I love it because I have a daughter and I tell her all the time, there's no need to apologize. You can be polite, but don't overdo it. She's 6 and she's extremely confident in herself, and I just want to make sure that confidence continues to get stronger. So, do you mind just taking a different topic for a moment and just tell us a little bit about that apology speak?
Oh, I'd be delighted to.
Thank you.
Apology being when you apologize and you haven't done anything wrong. And it can be even in verbal cues, such as starting out a discussion saying, I'm sorry, and there's nothing that you need to be sorry for, or putting yourself down with self-deprecating comments, such as, in my humble opinion, where your opinion is actually quite valid. It doesn't need to be with secondary, that is just comment.
Mhm.
So watching what you say, and sometimes people, particularly women historically, will engage in apology speak in order to make others feel comfortable, especially when they're posing a different opinion or viewpoint in a group. But what it does is it hurts your credibility. When you're at work, if you're always apologizing, people aren't going to consider you as a source of leadership. And in your personal life, when you do the same thing, it hurts your relationships.
And that's one of the things that people, when you go into relationships, little things are really big things, and you should not minimize or trivialize your own accomplishments against someone else's. You should, in a sense, stop apologizing and stand your ground. And these are the values, traits, and qualities that really define character and integrity, but also distinguish you as someone that can lead. And that's what you want to do. You want to lead in life, and but also respectfully follow. But nonetheless, the apologizing is something that we've seen too much of. And that's something that, again, I thank you for giving that quick summary. I know we can talk for hours about it, but as a father of a young daughter that has, you know, the world in front of her, she is being molded to, you know, be respectful, be polite, but don't apologize. You know, leading with an apology is something that, you know, is unfortunately seems to be everywhere, from the internet to, you know, TV shows. And that's something that, again, I'm hoping that we can continue to make a standard for all of our young women and women in the workplace. There's no need to apologize for speaking your mind.
Absolutely. Let her something wrong. Sure, apologize. When you haven't, hurt you in so many ways. So your daughter's lucky you're already looking out for her in this way.
And her older brother, he gets the fury of it, because, you know, I mean, he's another young strong personality and rising, but nonetheless these are all lessons and things that, while your book Free and Clear is for, you know, targeted toward, you know, adults that are seeking to break through, rest assured that your methods and your teachings are being applied to, you know, parenting, in the sense of, because, you know, you got to take a step back and really pause and remember that, you know, when you're raising kids, you know, you're their frame of reference. And if you give them the wrong perspective, you're going to set them on a course that could be, you know, wrong. So I can only thank you for the tools, the tips, and the reverse bucket list that you gave. You know, I've gotten a lot of comments online about it, and got comments of 100% hearts, you know, all sorts of praise for Shira Miller, providing the insight and the expertise of how to get unstuck and unleash your inner rock star. And before we go, can you tell everybody, Shira, how they can find you, where they can find your book, and any last thoughts that you want to share?
If you're relatively new to adulting, you could be in midlife, trying to figure out how to finally start living for yourself, or at the end, being older and looking more towards what your legacy is. It's never too late to get unstuck. And I encourage people, visit my website, ShiraMiller.com, or you can go find my book directly on Amazon.com. Free and clear, get unstuck and live the life you want.
And you're hearing that from a person that went through, you know, was at the top and then hit bottom and bounced right back up through her superpower of getting unstuck, getting that resiliency, the 5 steps, the process to pause, to
Spell her name.
and oh, we got a request online to just spell it out. So it's spelled Shira Miller. It's SHIRA Miller, MILLER.com, all one word, ShiraMiller.com, and you can claim the life you deserve. Get unstuck and unleash your inner rock star. These are things that we all must do, because we find ourselves in places and situations that are detailed in her new book, Free and Clear, available on her website, but also on Amazon.com. And today was a great show, a great discussion about, you know, how to become even a better adult. Because, you know, during COVID, relationships were strained. And thanks to Shira, she shared her situation to make sure that we all learned that we're not that different, but we can be great as soon as you get unstuck with her new book, Free and Clear. Thank you for joining us, Shira. Thank you all for listening for what happened here. Next week's going to be another great show. Thank you again, and don't change that dial. Thank you.